Hi Virgo, so we're going to do your lunar eclipse, full moon in Virgo reading here. And I know that the full moon lunar eclipse already happened. I know some of you were able to see it, some of you were not. But this is at the peak of the energy that comes from this event, okay? And I want to talk a little bit about what lessons need to be understood here through it, because full moon eclipses, they're like supercharged full moon energies, which actually try to shed light on your shadow self, the dark side, the lessons that need to be learned, the things that you need to pay attention to improve. It's all about the healing. So we're going to get into this.
I just can't let you go. Lord knows that I've tried to. You said I was the
All right, Virgo. So here's the thing. The full moon eclipse, okay? And so it's the bloodworm moon, which some of you, if you saw it, if you were able to witness it, I don't know where in the world you were, leave me a comment below. But conclusions are within reach, okay? So this is talking about when this full moon eclipse happens, this lunar eclipse, there is an energy of like doors slamming shut, and usually they don't reopen again. And the reason for this is because you're about to reach a peak in your life. All right, Virgo, or it's already happened, okay? And those doors are shut, there's no going back. There's a huge shift and change, and then there's a fallout from this. And I feel like that situation that ended, it's now out of your hands. It's kind of like, all right, we're just leaving this energy alone. The door is shut. Gonna leave it alone so that your soul can evolve from this energy, from this door slamming shut, right? So if you're letting go, or you've let go of someone or something, this is, they're saying it's the right time. Okay, if you've already done it, and if you're thinking of doing it, this is the time to do it. And I'm going to tell you why, right? Something that another person did doesn't make things right, but it releases you to move on and move forward. Okay, there's an old saying, that which is meant for me will not pass me by. Okay, and now is the time for you to get back on track. You can forgive. That will help set you free of karma. You can do some meditation or yoga or any kind of thing like that. But you're being asked now to cede control and let events unfold. Let the chips fall where they may now, all right? That's what you're being asked, okay? I feel like this eclipse does induce change, which could be very uncomfortable. So this whole idea, Virgo, it's very easy to keep it's very easy to slam a door shut on something. I feel like the difficulty people have is keeping that door shut, right? Because sometimes when the door gets shut, when we're slamming it shut, it's usually out of some kind of an emotional reaction, done with this, slamming the door on it. But then, like if there's anger or whatever, emotions change and they shift. And if you're reacting based on the emotion that you're feeling, you're like a candle in the wind. And there is a tendency for some to want to like kind of reopen that door again. And I feel like that usually happens when you haven't taken the steps to walk far away from that door, to be out there on your own and make the changes that you need to make. Because once you are making those positive changes for yourself, you're less inclined to go reopen old doors again. Okay. And I really feel like it's time now with this lunar eclipse to work on your shadow self, work with your darkness. And what does that represent? This is a lunar eclipse in full moon in Virgo. Okay, so it's totally all about you. And what that represents at this time is, I feel like the message here is that you're not giving yourself enough credit. You are probably a humble person, but you might be self-effacing, like to the point of being self-effacing, where you might be the kind of person where somebody gives you a compliment or tells you about something good about yourself. You might be that Virgo that's like, it's not a big deal. I was talking about this yesterday I think, in the reading about how like I don't like ceremony award shows and going to like get graduation thing. I'm like, why? Just give me my diploma. Just give me my certificate. I made the money. I did the work. It's fine. Well, that's what's called self-effacing. And it's not that Virgos don't often feel like they deserve that, but Virgos can be so humble to the point of self-effacing. They're just like, what's the point of? Virgos don't like the fanfare, is what I'm feeling. Some do, but I don't necessarily feel like putting yourself in a position to accept a compliment or something that someone is celebrating about you is necessarily a bad thing. And I think that the message here, this could be a little underlying thing of feeling maybe like, oh, I'm really not good enough to deserve a big fanfare party kind of thing. I feel like that might be a subconscious thing, right? Even though I understand, Virgo, that you just don't want people to make a fuss over you, right? Because it's like, ooh, it gives, maybe for some of you, it gives you the ick. It's like, oh, don't make a fuss over me. It's just, it's too much. But you know what? You don't have to do it every single time. I feel like it's okay when somebody is giving you a compliment or you're receiving an award for something. It's okay to take it in stride and just be like, wow, thanks. Yeah, I did deserve that. I worked really hard for that, right? You can still have your humility and still appreciate yourself. And this might have a little bit of feeling like, well, maybe I'm just not good enough for that. You could feel that, or it's just, I feel like that might be subterranean kind of subconscious stuff, right? That's where the shadow stuff is. And the message I'm getting for this full moon in Virgo shadow work is stop second guessing yourself, Virgo. Stop doubting yourself. This is a time for you to declutter, okay? Your life, your home, your office. It's time to sort what's good in your life from what's not serving you. And it's also time to clear out your energies, right? And you could clear out energies with salt baths, meditations, practice getting more grounded, mindfulness, walking barefoot even, okay? And this is all about living a healthier life. So I feel like the dark aspect, the shadow work is, you know what? I don't like all the fanfare, but if somebody wants to celebrate me, I'm going to let them. And I'm not going to dismiss myself. Okay, I'm not going to dismiss, and I'm going to share my joy and my success. Now, you don't have to do it every single time, but you could get comfortable with it, right? You don't have to, because I feel like people who are, especially Virgos who are self-effacing, they just don't seek out a lot of attention. They just don't. It's just not their spiel, right? A lot of Virgos are introverts, actually. So self-effacing is the act of making yourself seem less important, prominent, or noticeable. And it's usually out of modesty or humility. And people who are self-effacing tend to downplay their own achievements, qualities, or presence, avoiding attention or praise. It's kind of like stepping back from the spotlight intentionally. You know, I feel like instead of saying to someone that is wanting to celebrate you, oh, it was nothing, anyone could have done it, you can kind of turn that around and even say, give yourself the kudos that you deserve. You know, you could say, you know what, I worked very hard for this. I put in a lot of effort in this relationship. I did break my back for a person, place, or a thing. And I need to recognize that. I need to tell myself, you know what? You gave your all. You gave your best. Instead of telling yourself, yeah, I gave my best, but whatever, I didn't deserve it. Or making excuses for other people. Okay? And a lot of times people will make excuses for another person's bad behavior. Oh, they're suffering. Oh, they have this, they have that. You need to start putting the self-focus back on you. Okay, because effacing is removing the self from your focus. It's not a crime. You can have humility and love yourself and focus on yourself at the same time. And I feel like that's what the message is here for this lunar eclipse, full moon of Virgo. And I feel, from what I understand, all the lunar eclipses that are going to go from this point forward are going to be in Virgo and Pisces. So there's a lot of understanding between Virgo and Pisces. They're actually opposite on the zodiac wheel. They complement each other, believe it or not. You know, I feel, but they're very similar at the same time. And I don't know why I'm bringing that up, but I just feel like that's something important for you to understand. Virgo, you can tell yourself, you don't have to go out and toot your horn if you don't want to. I know you're not. It's just not you. But you can tell yourself, you know what, I am good enough. I've done the work. I've put it in. I've put the work in. And when somebody compliments you, you can accept that. You know, you can say, thanks, you're right. I do deserve this. Yes, I do deserve this. It's not an ego boost. It's not an ego thing. It's the self-esteem. Because Virgos tend to, because they're so humble and because they can be so, not all. I know some Virgos, like, they need to be whacked off their throne. There are some Virgos out there, and it's like, you need to sit down, okay? Because you are not humble. You are like out of control. I've known a few, okay? But because Virgos are humble and they don't like to take the attention and all the credit and stuff like that, it's uncomfortable for you to do that. But I feel like the message here is, with this shift and this change, you're going to receive some compliments from someone in the next 72 hours, Virgo. It could be from a lover, it could be from a colleague, it could be from a friend, a work thing. And when they send you the compliment, I don't know exactly what it's going to be. I mean, you don't have to push it back in their face and just get all cocky, but you can say, thanks. I agree. I agree. You're right. I am amazing. I am. I put in the work. I am special. Yeah. Right? So there's a little practice for you within the next 72 hours. I guess that's over the weekend, but there's a little practice for you, Virgo, to accept the compliment. That's your homework, I guess, Virgo. That's your homework, to remind yourself. This is your shadow work, I should say, your shadow homework. To not dismiss. Don't dismiss yourself. That's the message. Now, I know this was short. Gosh, it's only like 15 minutes, so to speak. I know this was short, but I just kind of felt like it was very precise. It needed to be precise. Conclusions are within reach. So if you're going through something in your life now, or you're feeling this energy right now, like you might be telling yourself, I don't know if I'm good enough for this. I don't know if I did well enough. I don't know if I deserve this. The conclusion is, you got to reframe and change the narrative about yourself. Change the narrative about yourself, whatever the previous narrative was. And we're not really talking about humility, because humility is a beautiful thing, where you go out and you do something for somebody else, right? To help somebody else is a good self-esteem booster. But it's time to change the narrative and start talking to yourself in a different light. Okay, and that's mostly why you're not accepting the awards or rewards, because there's a part of you that doesn't feel like you deserve it, right? Small part. Some of you are just like, I just don't want all the fanfare. But you know what? I say all the time, when you're appreciating yourself and you are changing the narrative, it's not like you need the attention. It's that when it comes and you feel confident in yourself, when someone gives you a compliment, confident people respond with, thanks, yeah, I did. I worked really hard at that. It doesn't go to their head, but confident, secure people recognize their own achievements. They don't need other people to recognize them, but they can agree with them. Okay, so there's something here which I feel like might be going on with you internally, where there's a little voice. It's really teeny, tiny voice that's kind of pushing back on what you deserve, And that little voice, that's like a little demon voice. that's like, don't accept the compliments. You didn't do good enough. You didn't work hard enough. Virgos are, can be so critical of the self, and that's why we're talking about it. Hold your head up. Appreciate yourself. Recognize your achievements. And start doing that within. And then when the compliments come, it's like, just, yeah, I know, you're right. I worked really hard, yeah. And I'll keep working hard. And my next relationship I get in, if you're not in one right now, you're going to love just as hard because that's who you are. You should never change who you are. Don't make the next person pay for what, if a last relationship failed. Just keep being you. But this is the shadow work. This is the energy that I'm picking up for this lunar eclipse. And I hope that gave you some insight. And F them all. Whoever, when you love yourself, you don't need other people to love you. It's a benefit. It's nice, but you don't need that. You don't have that void. All right, Virgo. So I hope you enjoy that. Super quick. Have a great weekend. I'll see you back here on Sunday.
Made this mess and left me with the pieces. Now I wanna burn all the bridges between us.